thought of a new weird thing that I like about books. Hello and welcome back to Bookish, and welcome to a video in which I'm going to expose yet again something I like in books that is weird. This is a direct byproduct of a video I posted on Friday about bookish fetishes and kinks, things that we just like about the books themselves or the act of reading. And I got a lot of really great responses in that to that video. And one of the responses that I got talked about font, fonts that people like and fonts people don't like. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really notice the font itself when I'm reading, unless there's something really irritating about the font. And for me, at my age, that usually has something to do with the size of the font. Unless the font itself is really irritating, I don't really notice. One of my commenters said they couldn't read books that were in certain font, and it probably has something to do with the size of the letters, the spacing, etc., like that. But like I said, that's not something that necessarily affects me other than size. And then lots of people talked about, that they like to read the preface or the acknowledgments and things like that. And I got started thinking about, those two things made me think about one of my favorite pieces of back matter that exists in some books. Back matter being those things that come after the book is over, like an index or an appendix or the about the author note or something like that. And I thought this was way more common than it is. And the thing I'm talking about is a note on the type, where there's this little brief paragraph giving you the history of the font that was used. I thought this was common across lots of books. Now, I hadn't noticed it so much in paperbacks. As a matter of fact, none of the examples I have right now are from paperbacks because I didn't want to, spend all day searching my shelves every single book. There's a paperback. These are all hardback books. And the truth of the matter is, apparently only one publisher does that, and that's Knopf is the only publisher who did it. I first noticed this way back, I think in the 80s or early 90s, when reading books by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and Knopf publishes them. And in the back of the book, I found this thing called a note on the type, in which it explained or gave a little history of the font, and I just really kind of fell in love with reading those things. So I thought I would share some examples of those, give you some idea of what we're talking about. So this is from The Story of a Shipwrecked Sailor by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. A note on the type. This book was set on the linotype in Jansen, a recutting made direct from the type cast from matrices long thought to have been made by the Dutchman Anton Janssen, who was a practicing type founder in Leipzig during the years 1668 to 87. However, it has been conclusively demonstrated that these types are actually the work of Nicholas Kiss, 1650 to 1702, a Hungarian, who most probably learned his trade from the master Dutch type founder Dirk Voskins. The type is an excellent example of the influential and sturdy Dutch types that prevailed in England up to the time William Cassin, 1692 to 1766, developed his own incomparable designs from them. So that little history lesson about type, and I think the resurrection of those names of people who I'd never heard of, and I probably I figure almost no one's ever heard of, just fascinated me. So from that point on, whenever I saw the note on the type, I would read it. Some of them are long and some of them are short. This is a note on the type from The Only Story by Julian Barnes. Again, it's a hardback Knopf book. So this one, a note on the type. This book was set in a version of the well-known monotype vase Bembo. The letter was cut from the celebrated Venetian printer Aldus Manutius by Francisco Griffo and first used in the Pietro Cardinal Bembo's De Etna of 1495. The companion italic is an adaptive of the Chancery script type designed by the calligrapher and printer Lodovico degli Arrighi. I don't know why, I just love those things, so I'm making a whole video sharing them with you. This is from the excellent book Cantorus by Carolina de Robertis. A note on the type. This book was set in Adobe Garamond, designed for the Adobe Corporation by Robert Slimbach. The fonts are used on types first cut by Claude Garamond, 1480 to 1561. Garamond was a pupil of Geoffrey Torrey and is believed to have followed the Venetian models, although he introduced a number of important differences, and it is to him that we owe the letter that we know as Old Style. He gave to his letters a certain elegance and feeling of movement that won the creator an immediate reputation and patronage of Francis I of France. And The Lost Children Archive by Valerie Luiselli, another great book. This is a really short one. See if I can get my cover back on. This book was set in Minion, a typeface produced by the Adobe Corporation specifically for the Macintosh personal computer and released in 1990. Designed by Robert Slimbach, again, Minion combines the classic characteristics of old-style faces with the full complement of weights required for modern typesetting. I like that one because it's modern. And then the last one, since this is, clearly a weird thing that I like and I'm not sure anybody else does, this is from Stella Mars by Cormac McCarthy. This book was set in Bodoni, a typeface named after Giambattista Bodoni, 1740 to 1813, the celebrated printer and type designer of Parma. The Bodoni types of today were designed not as faithful reproductions of any one of the Bodoni fonts, but rather as a composite, modern version of the Bodoni manner. Bodoni's innovations in type style included a greater degree of contrast in the thick and thin elements of the letters and a sharper and more angular finish of details. That note on the type is the best thing in McCarthy's Stella Mars. Anyway, I realize this is kind of a weird topic, kind of a weird like. If you like the note on the type in the back of books, if you know of other publishers who do this, or if Knopf does this in its paperback imprints, please let me know down in the show note, in the comments below, and any other weird thing that you like, front matter or back matter, that you'd like to share. Please share those in the comments also. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I look forward to your comments.